Maturity isn't when you're always right. It is when you're confident enough to accept that maybe you haven't seen everything yet. And perhaps the most dangerous thing isn't being wrong. It's thinking that you can't be wrong. And hi, I'm Jane, and you're listening to my story, where I dive deep into my own experience to better understand how they shape my mindset and the way I see life. There is something that I realized quite early on, but it took me a long time to truly understand its value. That is, I am not always right, and other people are not always wrong. The story started when I was in 6th grade. Back then, my homeroom teacher was also my literature teacher, and there's one lesson I still remember very clearly. That day, our class studied a short story, The First Cold Wind of the Season by That Lam, and in Vietnamese the story named Gió lạnh đầu mùa. This is a very warm story about love and compassion between people in difficult circumstances. It tells the story of two sisters, Sơn and Lang, from a well-off family who gave an old pattern coat to Hinh, a poor girl suffering in cold. After finishing the lessons and answering questions, our class began discussing a very interesting issues from my teachers that she asked. Was it right or wrong for the two sisters to give away that old coat, a belonging of their deceased younger sibling? It sounds simple, but the more you think about it, the more perspectives you realize there are. At first, almost everyone thought that's a kind act, having someone else, so it must be right. But when we were divided into groups to discuss more deeply and focus more into the details telling about that coat is belonged to the deceased younger siblings, the conversation began to shift. Most of the class, including me, started leaning toward a different opinion that giving away the coat might not be appropriate. Because it was a keepsake of someone who has passed away, it held emotional value, it preserved memories of a loved one. And these reasons making giving it away somehow didn't feel right. At that moment, everything still made sense to me until one classmate spoke up. She said, keeping something isn't always the best choice. She means that the actions of the two sisters giving away the old coat is still right. And then she explained, those keepsakes might consistently remind the mother about her child loss. Every time she sees them, she is pulled back into grief, and sometimes that keeps the whole family stuck in sadness longer than necessary. Whereas, if the coats were giving away, it could help someone in need, it might lighten the emotional atmosphere in the family, and maybe the child who passed away would feel happy, knowing their belonging is still helping someone else. I remember that moment so clearly. I paused, not because I thought I was wrong, but because for the first time I realized there was another perspective, one I had never considered. After that day, I understood something really important for me. Sometimes my opinion can be right without meaning that someone else is wrong. In discussions, especially in literature or social issues, there isn't always a single most correct answer. There's often just right and more appropriate in a certain context. This is something I both love and find exhausting about literature. Because sometimes in multiple choice exam, when I picked answer A for example and it turned out to be wrong, I feel confused and I don't really agree with that because A isn't exactly incorrect. It is correct, but every time the teacher shows me that the correct answer is more precise, more complete, or more insightful, I learned so much. So after time, I gradually developed calmness, careful thinking, and stronger analytical skills so I can choose the correct answer over time. And those things completely changed how I see problems. After that class, I started to enjoy discussions and debates, especially with that classmate who always had perspectives that were different, sometimes even against the majority. I didn't always agree, but every time I learned something new and it feels like my mind was expanding. And from that time, I began to practice looking at issues from multiple angles, questioning my own thoughts, not rushing to conclusions, and most importantly, not being afraid of being wrong. This is called multidimensional thinking. But it isn't just about seeing from many angles. It also means knowing how to listen, knowing how to ask questions, and knowing how to filter information. Because not every perspective is correct or suitable with you. And this is something many people usually forget and misunderstand. Remember that listening to understand, not to blindly believe. For example, when you listen to a podcast, read a book, or watch a video, you might find, idea A from this video is great, idea B is interesting, but idea C doesn't seem quite right. Or maybe not really right for me. And that's when you're truly thinking, not just receiving information, but filtering, comparing, evaluating, and deciding what to believe. And I start applying that mindset to a bigger topic, AI. Today's word, there's a topic that gets a lot of attention and debate, AI in education and learning. Many people dislike it, even oppose it, or judge those who use it. And I understand why, because I don't deny that AI can make students dependent, reduce critical thinking, and make the brain lazy. And if you let AI do all your work and you don't think, don't verify, then yes, you are weakening yourself. But you know what? The problem isn't AI. And the truth is, it is not just AI. Anything you depend on too much can be harmful. The problem isn't the tool, it's how you use it. Imagine this. A student is very strong in math and science. Subjects directly relate to their future career, but they still have to study history, literature, and other subjects that are not their strengths. Then, when the assignments become longer, heavier, more complicated, using AI to summarize, explain, and success ideas isn't unreasonable at all, even when they use it to study math or science. And in fact, if used correctly, it can save time, preserve energy for important subjects, important things, for resting, prevent burnout, and more importantly, if you not depend on it, but use it as a tool, then the core goal of education, which is learning, which is observing knowledge, is still achieved. Also, many people think using AI means you are lazy or not intelligent, but from another perspective, those who know how to use AI effectively are actually very smart, because they are not only keeping up with the times but also optimizing time, effort, and productivity while maintaining quality. Not everyone knows how to write a good prompt to guide AI properly, and not everyone knows how to filter, verify, and transform AI-generated content into something truly valuable, and that's the real difference. An intelligent person isn't defined by whether they use AI or not, but by whether they adapt, stay updated, and keep learning through every era without letting their thinking get stuck in a single point in time. But remember, not everyone is ready to use AI. There's another perspective that I really agree with. AI should use selectively, especially depending on age and development level. For example, for younger students like in elementary school or middle school, building a strong foundation of knowledge is the priority, so AI use should be limited. But for older students like in high school with a certain level of thinking ability, AI can be introduced, teach, and with control. Because there are lots of things that you must learn and understand on your own completely. Share that basic historical knowledge to understand your roots and appreciate peace. Fundamental skills like calculation, writing, and expressing ideas clearly, or simply knowing how to listen, write, and respond thoughtfully. This may sound basic, but they are the foundation of thinking. If you skip this stage or rely on AI too early, you may face a serious problem that you might know many things but not truly understand any of them. Especially when your brain is still developing, using AI without control or in the wrong way can reduce independent thinking, but you get used to having ready-made answers and gradually lose the habit of thinking on your own. And that's the real concerns, because there are skills that you cannot outsource to AI. You can ask AI to help you write your paragraph, but you cannot ask it to think for you. You can ask AI to explain something, but you cannot ask it to understand life on your behalf. If used correctly, AI is a powerful and essential tool, especially in this era. But if used at the wrong time or in the wrong way, it won't help you move faster. It will quietly make you weaker. AI doesn't destroy education. It forces education to change how we teach, how we learn, and how we evaluate. And in reality, AI doesn't replace you. It replaces those who don't know how to use it. And that's the end of the AI discussion topic. Everything I've talked about comes down to one skill: critical thinking. Not to argue, win, or prove that I am right, but to understand more deeply, see more broadly, and be more fair. I really enjoy the feeling of being able to see an issues from multiple perspectives, understanding why others think differently while still maintaining my own stance. And debate only becomes negative when there is disrespect, personal attacks, or stubbornness. But if we know how to listen, ask questions, and express ourselves thoughtfully, then debate is a sign of maturity. In conclusion, every issue has multiple perspectives, and each perspective depends on position, circumstance, experience, and emotion. From there, each person forms their own judgment, what is right and what is suitable for them. So, don't rush to conclusions. Understand before you judge. And perhaps that's why in social community essay, you're always asked to include a counter-argument, not to make things difficult for you, but to help you avoid a blind spot in your own thinking. And if you ask me, what is the most important skills in this era? I won't say it's knowing how to use AI. I would say it's how you observe, perceive, and think about the world around you. And to wrap up this episode, I would like to leave you with this message. Every issue has multiple perspectives, and a truly intelligent person is not the one who decides the fastest, but the one who is patient enough to look long enough before making a decision. Because in the end, in the age of AI, what matters most isn't how much you know, but how you think about what you know. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you in the next episode.